This is LauraJthe.Treetalker. Today I'm talking to Hawthorn, and what it told me was pretty short. It said, "The tide is beginning to turn. Capitalize on this moment. We are on the edge of a knife. It can still go one way or the other. Keep making your voices heard. Keep pushing against the forces that would enslave us all. It's making a difference." I felt the shift in the collective atmosphere for the first time yesterday and knew I would want to ask a tree about it. The page that opened in my book when I flipped the pages was Hawthorn. Its message was pretty short, so I wondered if Hawthorn was associated with holidays that are celebrated at this time. I looked at a few online sites for information. Turns out that the Hawthorn is associated with this time in a few interesting ways. Many Christians still believe that the crown of thorns placed on Jesus' head was made from hawthorn, and Joseph of Arimathea is alleged to have planted a hawthorn staff when he went to Britain carrying the Holy Grail. Legend says the staff sprouted into a tree that flowers twice a year, once around Easter and again at Christmas. It's believed that he planted it on Glastonbury Tor. That original tree is gone, but a new tree is always planted when the old one dies, and ribbons are tied to the tree, often as a form of offering or wish granting. In Celtic legends, the hawthorn is connected with fairies. These fairies are not the nice kind, and it's said that if you fall asleep under a hawthorn tree, you run a good chance of being kidnapped and taken to the underworld, so you want to keep them happy. Maybe that's why the ribbons are tied on the tree. In these traditions, it's an insult to fairies to mention them by name, so the hawthorns are called lonely trees and gentle trees, which is a euphemism to avoid bad luck. Cutting down an isolated hawthorn tree was said to result in instant death, which is why many old hawthorns survived and can sometimes still be seen in the middle of fields, windblown and rugged. The hawthorn blossoms are described as smelling like decaying flesh. The Great Plague of 1665 is estimated to have killed as many as 100,000 people in London. When the wealthy fled London for their country homes, they could smell the bodies that were piled up waiting for the officials to take them away. Apparently, it is from that time that hawthorn blossoms were banished from homes in English folk traditions, at a time when scents, particularly herbal medicinal scents like rosemary, were regarded as a way of warding off the plague. Hawthorn was seen as a possible transmitter. But it has other things happening. They seem to have been associated also with optimism and fertility and love in the Greeks. They are associated with the Greek god of marriage, Hymen, and altars dedicated to him from 5 BC were lit with spills made from hawthorn wood. England and much of Europe carried this idea through to medieval times, and the hawthorn was seen as a tree of love and romance, new starts, and fertility. The Mayflower, with its connotations of optimism and fecundity, was a popular name for early 17th century ships. There were 26 ships called Mayflower docked in London when the most famous one took Puritan pilgrims to America. Branches of hawthorn blossom were traditionally hung above doorways to increase fertility and ward off evil spirits. Crowns of hawthorn flowers were worn by young women looking to attract a mate. The original maypoles were made from hawthorn wood, the settling for a fertility dance, and the weaving of the feminine ribbons and flowers around a masculine pole. The overt sexuality of the maypole led to the Puritan government banning May Day celebrations in 1644. Originally May Day, also celebrated as the fire festival Beltane by neo-pagans, would have taken place several days later at a more equal point between the spring equinox and the summer solstice. In 1752, when the Gregorian calendar was adopted in the UK, dates were changed to incorporate around 13 extra days. Obviously, nobody told the plants, which is why pre-16th, 18th century accounts have hawthorn flowering on May Day, where now that would be too early in most places. The thing that connects the fairies to May Day and neo-paganism is the hanging of fabric strips from the thorn of a hawthorn tree. And my thanks to Jane of snapdragonlife.com, who you can also find here on YouTube. She is in Scotland and has a great little site, so have a look at it. Anyway, this is LauraJthe.Treetalker, and I will talk to you again soon from some other tree another day. Bye.